It's a beautiful day here in Florida, and in fact it's great driving weather, so I have the Delorean out, and I figured I'd stop by Wayne Anthony Insurance. They're my agent, and they helped me out with a great policy through Haggerty for this car, so I figured we'll stop by, see if they want to go for a ride, and maybe we could get some questions answered, you know, about insuring a classic car. Hey Christy, what's up?
Hey Austin, how you doing?
Pretty good. Had a few questions about my policy, but I was thinking before that we could go for a little drive in the DeLorean.
Sure, I'd love to. Okay, McFly, you ready?
It's interesting driving with your insurance agent in the car because you're like hyper conscious. Like,
Are you super nervous?
no, not at all actually. I'm a very casual driver. I don't hot rod around, so to speak. So I don't have to alter my driving.
Good to hear.
Yeah, I don't have to alter my driving style.
Because I'm in the car.
No, I don't. So let's talk a little bit about the classic car insurance policies, because they are different than your regular car policy, like your daily driver policy.
They are. Some of the key points are that you need to at least have a primary car that you do drive around daily in order to qualify for a product like Haggerty.
Most of the guys with the classic car that I talk to, I would say probably like 90% of them, they use Haggerty for their classic car insurance because they understand classic cars, they understand people that drive classic cars, they understand the values of classic cars and how people use them and all that stuff, so it just makes it easier. And which leads me into my next question, the usage. You're not using it as a daily driver, and that's one of the reasons why it's affordable to insure a classic car.
Right. So the Haggerty policy does allow for flexible usage, and they're not really going to have a limit on your mileage.
Yeah, I noticed they didn't give me a mileage limit.
Correct.
But it's kind of like a common sense thing. Like, you're not going to go drive Uber with it or something like that.
No, definitely not.
One of the things that might be tough for some people, depending on their living arrangement, is that you have to have the car covered. It's got to be in a structure.
Well, it has to be stored. So you can store that in your garage. You can store it in a rental unit, storage unit, or even something like a barn.
So for me, I just went and I got an air-conditioned unit that the car stays in, so it lives better than some people.
It probably does. And so that meets the requirement for the policy.
One of the other things that I wanted to ask is, what should people do if they have a classic car, but it's a project car? It might be a year before they have it running. They're rebuilding the engine, they're getting paint work done, so it's not yet roadworthy. They want to protect that asset though. What do they do in that situation?
That's a good question, and Haggerty does have a restoration program type policy that you can have for that vehicle.
How is Haggerty setting the value of the vehicle?
So it's agreed upon value between you, the car owner, and Haggerty, and that's agreed upon up front when the policy is issued.
So if you put a number that makes sense to them, they're not going to question it. If you call up and say, I want to insure this 86 Camaro for $2 million.
Right. That's going to throw some red flags.
I think my number was right in there, so they just ran with that, no problems at all, because it fit what they already knew about the kind of car they already.
Well, and like you mentioned, it's what they do. They have resources to look at the value of the vehicles that you're insuring. So
they probably have more data than like anybody else. They have journalists publishing, they're a publication as well, it seems like, not just, an insurance provider.
Right. They have their magazine, and like you mentioned, they are specialty, and their specialty is insuring the classic car.
That's why I went with them, and I think it's a great thing. Well, I really appreciate it, Christy. Thanks for going for a ride with me, and thanks for insuring my car, make sure that I got the right policy. I think you're the one that directed me to Haggerty when I came in, so I'll have to go for a ride again soon sometime.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you.